And good afternoon. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam's Sports Report. Georgia Tech upsets Florida for the first time in 15 games. Georgia Tech has beat a ranked team. This time it was number 10 to pull the huge upset. Florida State may have a hard time making the playoffs after a game like that. Final score was 24-21 as a field goal went through to win the game. Now on to the Big 12 and predictions. Defensive starter. And we've got the Kansas State offense. Now let's look at the Kansas State as their schedule. Kansas State number 18. Arizona 21. Kick is at 7 on September 13th. September 24th, Kansas plays BYU. Kansas State. I've got Kansas State beating Arizona. I've got Kansas State beating BYU. I've got Kansas State losing to Oklahoma State. I've got Colorado losing October 12th. I've got at West Virginia. October 20th, host Kansas. November 2nd, Iowa State. I've got Kansas State going 10-2. The Jayhawks ranking is number 22. I've got Kansas going 9-3. They can win one of those Canadian games. Maybe they can get into the playoffs and go 9-2. Players to watch out for: Jaden Daniels, running back; Neal. Key games for Kansas: at Illinois, September 7th. September 4th, 21st, West Virginia. November 16th, at BYU. November 23rd, and Colorado. Games will be played at Arrowhead. Games will be played at Arrowhead for some of them, or Sporting KC if they're a home game. I would have announced at. If you would have heard that, that would mean they would be away. Otherwise, they're at Arrowhead or Sporting KC Park as KU gets their stadium redone. I'm taking Kansas at 9-3, possibly 8-4 because they're playing at Arrowhead. Kansas is 8.5 over under. Utah, who is right behind Missouri. Utah is very favorable to win. Key games: September 17th. Utah, who is right behind Missouri. Utah is very favorable to win. Utah, Oklahoma State, September 21st. That's a key game. Arizona, September 28th, 21-12. Arizona 21, Utah 12. That's September 28th. TCU, Utah, October 19th. Utah, Houston, October 26th. Iowa State, Utah, November 23rd. And they finish off the season, Utah UFC, November 29th. October 11th, 9:30 p.m. in Arizona. November 9th, Arizona will play UFC. November 6th at Kansas State. With Arizona State starting all over. Key games: October 5th, versus Kansas. Utah, October 11th. Cincinnati, October 19th. OSU, November 2nd. UFC, University of Central Florida. Oklahoma State was OSU, November 9th. November 16th at Kansas State. November 23rd versus BYU. And November 30th at Arizona. Baylor will have a tough season, so we'll skip over them. UFC will also have a tough schedule. August 31st, they will play at 7 against SIU just for fun to get that game where I went to school. September 6th, Friday at SMU. September 14th at Wyoming. September 21st, Kansas State. October 12th versus Arizona. Friday, October 18th, OSU. November 19th, Utah hosts Kansas. And November 26th, Houston. That's it for BYU. Now we go on to Cincinnati. September 21st, home at Houston. September 28th at Texas Tech. October 12th at UFC. October 26th at Colorado. November 9th at West Virginia. November 15th at Iowa State. That's for Cincinnati. Iowa State, North Dakota. I would take Iowa State, but it'll be a tough game. Iowa State, as usual, North Dakota will be tough. Iowa State at Iowa, September 23rd. September 28th, Houston. October 12th at West Virginia. November 3rd at Kansas. November 30th, hosts Kansas State. C, Colorado will be 5-7 or 4-8. Many people on ESPN have them better, but I just don't see them being that great. September 7th at Nebraska. September 14th, Colorado at Colorado State. Key games. September 28th at UFC. Kansas State, October 12th. UFC TCU, September 14th. UFC Florida, October 5th. UFC at Colorado. September. UFC Iowa State, October 19th. November 2nd, UFC Arizona. November 29th, UFC Utah. West Virginia, Saturday, October 21st, West Virginia Penn State, number 5. That would be a really tough game for West Virginia. September 14th, West Virginia at Pittsburgh. September 21st, West Virginia at Kansas. October 5th, Oklahoma State. October 5th, this is West Virginia, Iowa State. Now October 12th. November 23rd, West Virginia UFC. Texas Tech. Key games. September 28th, Cincinnati. October 5th at Arizona. October 26th at TCU. November 2nd, TCU at Iowa State. West Virginia schedule. Number 8, Penn State will travel to West Virginia to play the unranked West Virginia Mountaineers. West Virginia Cincinnati, September 28th. West Virginia, Arizona, October 5th. TCU games, I'm taking them to be surprising. 8-4. September 14th, UFC at TCU. September 21st, TCU at SMU. September 28th, TCU at Kansas. November 9th, TCU at OSU. November 23rd, 21, Arizona. Now let's skip down to prediction of standings. Then we're done with the Big 12 schedule. Predictions for standing. I've got Kansas State at 10-2 or 9-3. I've got the Jayhawks 9-3. I have Utah 11-1 and playing Kansas State in the Big 12 championship. We'll see who wins that. That could decide on the playoffs, or they could get 2 in. Arizona, I got them 9-3. Baylor, I've got a tough season, 2 or 3 wins. BYU, I've got them at 6-6. Cincinnati, I've got them at 7-5. I got CO, Colorado, 5-7 or 4-8. I've got Texas Tech at 6-6. Iowa State at 7-5 or 8-4. I've got TCU surprising people at 8-4. That's it. I've got Houston going 6-6 as well. That's it for the Big 12. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report.